Hey guys, welcome to the Sunnydale Diaries, a podcast where I, Melanie,
And I, Sean.
watch and discuss every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sean's absolute favorite show of all time that I have never ever seen.
Slowly getting hooked on.
I don't know if I'd say hooked on, but I'm
I would.
enjoying myself. So, if you have been listening, welcome back. If you are new to listening to our podcast, welcome. And if you'd like to leave us a review after listening to this episode, feel free to do so on your streaming platform of choice. Tonight, we are talking about season 4, episode 12, A New Man.
Mhm.
My prediction was that this was going to be a Spike-centric episode, and I couldn't have been further off.
It's hard when it's just a title, and I didn't give you a screenshot for this one because all the screenshots were Giles in his feral demon form,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you might recognize it's him. I don't want to give it away.
I might look into his eyes. I can see it in his eyes.
You mentioned about leaving us a review. We recently got a review on Audible from Ryan Jacobson. Gave us 5 stars.
Dan?
Thank you, Ryan. A headline of a fantastic way to relive the TV series. He was looking for a road trip podcast and found us. They like the idea of me, who's seen it a bunch of times, you, who Buffy is new, and just reliving the show like, from my point of view, hearing what you have to say. So, thank you, Ryan.
And
Ryan also
go ahead.
Ryan also emailed us and told us a lot of this, how he found us and when he listens. And you have a website to share,
He
Melanie, right?
he writes they're not choose your own adventure, choose your own path books, which I'd be interested in checking out. You and I like those. I
Yes.
told him that we played a choose your own adventure game. We didn't actually play the game, I think. We started off by playing the game and then we ended up just reading the story and working through all the different paths.
Yeah.
We didn't have time for that, playing the game. But yeah,
It was cool.
I looked him up on Google, and it looks like the best way to find him is on a site called Adventure with Keen, KEEN.com. And Ryan Jacobson is his name, and it's got like his author news. You can contact him that way and find his books there. So yeah, so welcome, Ryan. Thanks for listening
Yeah,
and the
thank
kind
you.
words.
Melanie and I are taking a trip in a few weeks. We are going to be at Fanboy Expo in Knoxville, Tennessee
Yep,
on Saturday, July 12th.
yep.
There also will be some cast members from Buffy there. James Marsters, who played Spike, Juliet Lando, played Drusilla, Claire Kramer, who plays a
Oh,
season 5 character.
I
We
didn't
have
know
not,
that.
yeah, that was, she was a later addition.
Oh, and Jens,
And,
yeah.
and Julie Bones, yeah. So if you happen to see us, we'll be wearing our Sunnydale Diary shirts. Come up,
Yep.
say hello.
Stop us and say hi.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a prize for you.
Oh my gosh. You ever see those videos where the guy, it's called Find Your Journey or something like that? Or I don't know. He just goes and he sits somewhere in a town and then he takes a picture of like, I take a picture of like my lamp back here. And that's the clue as to where he is. And the first person that runs up to him and yells, Find your journey, gets a prize.
That's cool.
Yeah, we should do that. We should come up with keyword phrase or something.
All right.
People
Well,
need to say,
this is the last episode that'll be out before
oh,
we go.
hey,
So
meathead.
put me on. Hey, meathead.
Meat pie. It's not meathead.
Hey,
Meat
meat pie.
pie.
Yeah.
Hey, meat pie.
All right.
Or
Come
just
up to
say,
us
hey
and
guys. I think, hey guys.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. And we'll have something for you.
Mm-hmm.
At a minimum, stickers.
At the very
We
least.
have a lot of stickers
But
to give away.
I'm not just going to bring stickers.
No. There'll be something else. So,
So,
yeah, July 12th.
yeah, be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, tonight's episode, A New Man, we, we are fans of the Chat GPT here. And so we looked up what are the themes of this episode. What can we talk about? So what we landed on was the changing your changing
Nope.
identity, right? How your
Yeah.
identity, do you have an identity crisis or a change of identity as your role in life changes, like your career or school or big life change? And how do you maintain your identity?
Hmm.
Have you dealt with that?
I've definitely had unintentional ones. You leave a job for another one and you think it's going to be like a really good thing, and it's not. It was really bad. I left a healthcare IT job to go back to a clinical lab job, because the company I was at was closing, and I thought going into this lab was going to be great. Like the interview was
Mm.
good, and then it started, and it was just like basically just like factory work, like run hepatitis testing on these 600 samples.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, yeah. That is the only post college job that I walked out of after 3 days,
Yeah,
and then kind of threw off everything. That was really the only time I've been unemployed in my adult life,
yeah,
and I ended up at another lab job on the overnight shift because that's what I could find.
yeah.
And the job itself was fine, but I hated working
Yeah, hours.
overnights.
That's
So,
tough.
yeah, some people,
I
can
know.
do that. I know somebody who did it for 25 years, but that's how I ended up in Florida, because I found another healthcare IT job and they wanted me,
Yeah.
and that's how I ended up here. What about you? When have you run into one of those identity crisis in your
So,
life or career?
I always knew, like from second grade on, I knew I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. And that's what I did all the way up through my graduate degree. But when I first got to school, I had a teacher that I really looked up to in middle school. And we talked about this last time, that about going back to school to talk to your old teacher. And I did used to go back and visit that teacher, and he knew that's what I wanted to go to school for, and he told me it wasn't a good idea. Like he was like, you could do so much more, and you should go for something else. You have much more potential. He obviously was not happy in his job. And so when I started school, I started as a poli science major.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't like it at all. It wasn't me. I went back to education pretty quickly, but trying to be something I wasn't.
Yeah.
And then I had to shift again when I got out of school and there were no teaching jobs available in Gainesville. And I ended up having to take that, an administrative job, which led me into my IT career and, a whole new world. So I don't know if I had a crisis at that point. I kind of went with the flow on that. I was just so busy with that whole thing, learning, and it was exciting to me. Um,
Hmm.
Do you, in general, though, I don't know that well, let's talk about this. In relationships and your identity in relationships, I will say I have a really hard time with that. Up till
Do
now,
you
with my
do you
current
mold?
husband, like maintaining your identity.
Do you change yourself
Oh,
into what
yes.
they want or what you
Oh,
think they want?
for sure. Every relationship
Mm,
until Drew, because Drew knew me as a friend first and knew who I was.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is not good.
No,
Not
and
healthy.
it's tough because you don't. Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah. And then I talked to a therapist about it, and I was like, I don't know who I am, because for so long I was just like whatever they wanted me to be. I was
Right.
heavy into D&D. I was into the goth scene for a while. I was into anime for a while. None of these things I really love. None of them are my passion, but it kind of served me, I suppose, in a way that I was exposed to a lot of different stuff and learned, some stuff and what I liked and didn't like that way. But yeah, not good to like lose yourself like that.
Yeah. How about imposter syndrome? Do you
Oh,
have you dealt with
you and
that?
I both share that, which is
Oh, I do.
ridiculous. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think that
Yeah.
most people do. I would say that's the majority of people.
Yeah.
Don't you think in life? I think everybody has
I
at
do.
least a little bit of it. Imposter
Yeah.
syndrome. Yeah. Sean and I both excelled in our careers and were leaders in our respective jobs on our teams. And anytime the boss would say, "Can you come to my office?" we'd both be sure we're getting written up at the very least, if not fired,
Yeah.
every single time. More likely it was, "Oh, we noticed you're doing a great job. Here's a bonus." That way it wasn't a bonus, but
Have, have a Hershey kiss.
we have our skills. Oh, with me it was, "Oh, well, we decided that you're doing much more than what the other people on your team are, so we're creating a new position for you. It's a big promotion."
I'm glad they did that because that allowed me to get mine.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, for sure. And that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I
Where
I'm
does that
I'm
come
working
from?
through that with my therapist now because I have dealt with that. Like when I took the manager role after you left,
Yeah,
or no, you were still there, but you were on your way out
right.
because they were doing layoffs. I was okay, and then we went out. A bunch of us went out to lunch, and somebody asked me, like, "Do you ever like suffer from imposter syndrome?" And then after they asked me that, that's all I could think about.
Sure.
But like you said, like I have excelled in these roles, so why up here
Why?
do I
Why?
feel like
And where does that
I think,
originate?
yeah, that's what my therapist asked me when I brought this up recently. She's like, "Where is it coming from?"
For me, I think it's because I didn't have a computer science degree. I didn't have any kind of formal computer technology education or training. It was all self taught. And it was all
Yeah,
like you. I was always just the person that people would come to.
yeah,
And so I think that puts you a little bit of a disadvantage because you, well, for I consider myself less prepared than my peers that have had that formal training. Like I might not know all the vocabulary that you know from your formal,
yeah.
education of this kind of stuff, but I know how to get it done,
That
and
and
we
that
end up at
like
the same
that's what's
place.
important. Yep.
Yeah,
No,
but
what
I think that's
you don't end up in the same place. You end up better
well,
most times because you're able to get things done and speak coherently
yeah.
and just stuff like that. And that's why you were recognized
It's
for it.
so interesting. Yeah, and despite all of that, still,
Right.
right? No matter how much positive feedback you get and how regular that feedback is, you still feel it.
And even like for me, because I went back and got my master's in health informatics because I knew I wanted to stay in
Mhm.
this field, I didn't get, I mean, the courses were interesting, but it's not like I got anything from that that would like maybe a better analyst. I don't think
Right.
it was all theory
Yes.
classes, and I'm sure I am pulling from those things, but I mean I think it's like you just pick it up.
Yeah. So,
Kind of,
just know thyself.
yeah,
You know? I don't know.
yeah.
I'm 54. Do I know myself? I used to think I used to think that who am I? And then like what is my passion? Before I was doing my glass, I was like, well, what do I love to do? I was like, I don't know. My therapist for that. Well, what do you really love to do? I don't know. Give me a list of things that maybe I could like check some boxes or something.
Are you ready to get into the episode?
Let's get into it.
All right, we start off with the previously on where Tara was
Hmm.
introduced. Spike can't bite anybody. Buffy and Riley finding out about each other.
Right.
And we open in Buffy and Willow's dorm, and Buffy and Riley are making out.
Did we talk about did you live in a dorm? Did you have a roommate in a dorm?
Yeah, one semester.
And did you have makeout sessions in the dorm room?
No, neither of us. Like I remember he had a girl spend the night, but like in separate beds because we had a triple,
Yeah.
and the third guy just never showed up.
Oh.
And she slept there, and he slept in his bed. So nothing ever
Oh.
happened. And anything that was going on with me did not occur at my dorm.
Mm.
What about you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's very awkward. Awkward.
I'm sure.
Of course. You're like, 10 feet from the other bed. It's very weird.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
did you ever like lay in your bed with somebody that you're crushing on and like be whispering to them? Is your roommate
Not
coming home?
Not in my dorm.
Let's go.
It occurred in their dorm, but
Are you want to keep making out? Let's do it. The whispering was getting me. I was like, okay, you guys can talk normal. It's okay. No big deal.
I, I just saw a funny reel about that today. It was a stand-up comedian, and he was in a triple, and the two other guys were boyfriends. So
Oh,
he heard some things.
yeah, for sure. Ooh.
But yeah, they're going at it, and then
They're
Willow bursts
going
in.
at it, Sean.
Yeah, they're making out hard. I mean,
Okay.
close on stuff,
All
but
right. Willow barges in.
there's a demon.
Yeah. It's a code blue alpha, or what is it?
Yeah, yeah, Code Alpha Blue.
Code alpha blue. It's code alpha blue.
Yeah.
I do like her. I was looking up Willow's sweater that she was wearing that said "as seen on TV." I couldn't find it
Mhm.
online. I would wear that. Something is breathing fire. So,
What's
let's
new?
go. Big
So
emergency.
they run out, run downstairs, and surprise!
Yep.
It's Buffy's 19th birthday.
19. I was like, "Gosh, she's not 24 yet. My God.
We started at
Oh,
16.
how is she only 19?
I know. Been through a lot.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And Willow's like, so you're not going to have to kill anything after all. And Buffy's like, yeah, we'll see. I have other things I'd rather be doing.
Literally.
Yes.
We got
Yes.
credits, which you know what? I skipped them, so I did not see the new
Oh,
credits.
well, that's
I'll
okay.
have to go back and watch
Yeah.
them. And then it opens up still the party going on. Giles is reminiscing about his college
Okay.
days.
Okay. Wait. Back it up. We're at this
Okay.
party. It's a
Yeah.
party in the dorm. So there's quite a few people there. It's not just
Yeah.
like Buffy and her close knit group.
The
It's like
Scoobies. Yeah.
a lot of people. The spread for this party is one bowl of punch,
Oh,
a bowl of Chex Mix, and a cake, like an 8-inch round cake.
it's round. These are college
An
students,
8-inch
Melanie. They
round cake,
can't
Sean.
afford a lot.
And they must have served Giles at least 5 slices of cake during this scene.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's like Jesus is at this party and he's gonna like do his miracle and there will be cake for all.
Willow casts a spell, unlimited
Maybe.
cake. That might be the episode title, Unlimited Cake.
Yes. So yes, poor Giles is kind of sitting off by himself, feeling alone. And Willow brings him another piece of cake.
Yeah.
I
Xander and Anya go up to him, and when he's talking about like his college days,
Yes.
they had an activity room like this, and Anya just lets out some rude statement as she typically does, and
Yeah.
Xander, we talked about this, Anya.
Yeah, she was very sweet about it. I'm sorry, that was rude.
She's learning,
Yeah, she is. And then Buffy comes over with her boyfriend Riley and introduces him to Giles as her boyfriend.
and he's a little taken aback.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very awkward.
And then Riley, are you retired?
Yeah.
No,
Doing something else?
at this point, I think he's like 46, 47, so my age.
Okay.
And that's if somebody asked me if I'm retired, I wouldn't be happy.
He's been unemployed a long time though.
About 7 months
Like,
at this point.
why has he not found another job?
Maybe he has a good emergency fund and is just living off that for a little
He's
bit.
not getting paid by the council anymore.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't
Yeah,
know. There are
yeah,
no more stipends. I don't know. He's qualified. He's got
yeah,
qualifications to get another job. I'm sure there's Sunnyvale High School needs a librarian.
yeah. I'm sure he can do that. Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you about this, but when I was in the hospital a couple of years ago, and it was a really bad migraine, but I thought I was having a stroke because I
Yeah.
felt like I was having like face paralysis, and everything was fine. But so they're getting ready to discharge me, and physical therapy comes in and do a quick evaluation. And Mike was in the room. Now Mike is a little bit older than me; he's like 4.5 years older, but not a huge amount. So the physical therapist guy is talking to me, and then he turns to Mike. He's like, "And you're his father?"
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
So I'm sure he can relate to how Giles felt when he's like
Oh,
retired.
when was this? When was that?
2018, I
Oh,
believe.
oh, not that long ago.
So
Like,
he would
when
have
you guys started
been,
dating, you were very young. You looked very
yeah,
young.
yeah.
So,
So
but
he would have
yeah,
been 45 at that point.
2018.
So
No. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Did he punch him? Kick
he
him in the
didn't.
shin?
No,
No.
he was just stunned.
Oh, yeah. So poor Giles. And he starts kind of stammering about, well, no, not at the moment. And Buffy's like, oh, he needs some more cake.
And then as she's bringing it over, she's talking about how she's been talking to Professor Walsh,
Yes.
and she's the smartest person
Oh my
ever.
God.
I was like, oh
Like,
man,
foot in
poor
mouth.
child.
And then she's like,
And
but she's like in her 40s. She's not going to hang around with a bunch of kids. I'm like, she's Louise, Buffy. I don't even think she realized,
oh no,
even throughout
oh no,
this scene, what she was doing and what she was saying.
nope,
And there was nobody there to
mm-mm,
like kick her,
nope.
like, oh God, oh my gosh, poor Giles. I was envisioning, our favorite heart is heart. Then we're at the basement apartment,
Yep,
and I guess Spike is moving out, and Spike is smoking a cigarette.
yeah.
Have we seen him smoking before?
A few times here and there, but it probably stood out to you more because he's in a house.
Maybe. And how could he smoke?
They have no
They
breath.
have no breath. How is he inhaling and exhaling that smoke? Maybe he wasn't, because it looked like it wasn't even lit. So maybe it's
But
just
you know,
an oral fixation thing.
now that you say that, when Angel turned into Angelus, right at that like the moment where we realize he's bad, the woman he bit was smoking a cigarette, and he like drank her blood, and then he exhaled the smoke. So not the first time. So how with no breath? I don't know.
Magic. That's the magic part of the
No, no, no,
magic.
no. You didn't.
That's the magics of the demon.
We'll
I
get to
wrote it down
that,
in
but
caps
oh
every time
man,
they said it. The magics. Ah!
that's a pet peeve of mine.
At least my closed captioning does not spell it with the K.
I was trying to find the script because I was struggling for a name for myself for this episode. So I
Mhm.
was scrolling through the scripts. Now, I don't know if this was somebody who just transcribing the episode or is the official script, but it was spelled Majick. I was like, no, no,
Oh no.
no.
Oof. Okay, so Spike's going to move out to some crypt or something,
Mhm.
which is going to work out best for everybody.
I think so.
And then we cut to Buffy in Professor Walsh's office, and she's telling Professor Walsh that she's the Slayer.
Hmm. And Professor Walsh says, "We thought you were a myth."
Yep, yep.
And then iconic line of the show, "You were a myth taken."
You texted me that.
Yes, I did.
I was like,
I love that line.
anyway, she's impressed by Buffy, and she's going to get Buffy clearance into the initiative so she can, I don't know, they can compare.
And Buffy's pulling a B minus in psychology, which is about a 2.8. So
Hey, good for her. And
um,
then they are comparing their magic numbers as to how many kills they have or captured.
yeah, Riley's taken down 17,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, all right, so we're 3.5 seasons in. It's got to be over 100 for Buffy, if not
Oh,
more.
with all like the lackey demons and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh for sure.
yeah.
I
So
wonder if
they're
there's a wiki body count, demon count. I
oh,
bet there is.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
Yeah.
So then Buffy and Riley are walking outside.
Yeah.
He's feeling inferior, big time.
And again, this is a scene that is just rife with sexual innuendo and metaphor. Very
Yeah,
funny. Then Giles, in his super tight jeans, shows up to Professor Walsh's office. I was like, woohoo, all right, Giles. Wow. Looking for Buffy. And this is just set up. You could tell this whole relationship is going to be very adversarial, right off the bat. Professor Walsh doesn't know who the hell this guy is, and she does not have much respect for him.
mm-mm.
And yeah, they're gonna butt heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They start talking about Buffy, and Professor Walsh thinks Buffy's lacking a father figure. Yeah. Ouch.
Ouch. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't end well.
Yeah.
No.
So then they can't find Buffy. He can't find Buffy, so he and Xander and Willow are patrolling. Oh, Well, oh no, we skipped the part where Giles is at home dusting and he finds the perfect book that says that something bad is going to happen. So that's why he's looking
That's
for
right.
Buffy. It was the third new moon after the 900th feast of Delthrox, which I said sounds like a cough medicine from the
Yeah,
70s.
there's Delsin and Delthrox.
Delthrox. And so, yeah, so they're patrolling without Buffy because this horrible thing is going to happen tonight. This demon is going to break through or something.
Lies.
Giles is talking about his encounter with Professor Walsh, and he calls her a Harridan, which I had to
And the
look up.
fishwife.
Hmm? And a
And the
fishwife.
fishwife.
I
Yeah,
don't know what a
Harridan.
fishwife is, but a Harridan is a strict, bossy, or belligerent old woman. What's a
Okay.
fishwife?
I I figured it was like a wife who worked with fish, like cleans the fish that her husband the catcher caught.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay, you're close. It says a coarse mannered woman who is prone to shouting, archaic, a woman who sells fish.
All right.
She doesn't need a husband to sell the fish. She sells the fish herself, Sean. Don't be sexist.
Well, no, I said the husband caught the fish.
Whatever. All right. So they get to crypt set number 44.
Yes.
And Giles can't believe it because there should be like a huge mess in there and not, maybe it hasn't happened yet. But then Willow says, "Oh no, the initiative's been here. They took care of it." He's like, "What are you talking about?" Poor Giles is like just 2 steps behind this whole episode.
I mean, I realized that Buffy didn't tell him about dating Riley, but I thought he knew about the initiative.
I guess not.
But
He
no,
just knew about the commandos. He's been looking, but he had no idea that they knew. Yeah, and Willow's like, "Oh, well, she's kind of dating one of the commandos." He's like, "What?" So anyway, he's like, "And just go ahead. You guys can go." And they run out of there, and he's gonna follow them because the famous last words he's leaving. He's like, "Oh, what am I doing? Nothing's gonna happen here." And as he walks out the door, well, I don't know about that. And it's Ethan Rain, our old friend Ethan Rain, who
so where was he?
steps out of the corner shadows like they didn't see him there or sense that somebody was in there. Ugh, this show. So anyway, but just as he walks out, Giles walks back in. I don't know why he walks back in, but catches Ethan Rain in there
Yeah, they fight.
very briefly. These
Yeah,
are like two middle-aged men. There's not going to be a big fight scene between these two.
right.
I don't even think they needed to pull in the stunt doubles for this fight.
No.
It's like, ugh.
And then they end up at a bar.
Yeah, and then they ended up at it looked like a nice restaurant
Yeah, yeah, bar
having a
restaurant. Yeah,
beer. And Ethan says that something bad is going to happen. The demons, something's harming the demons, and they're scared.
yeah. Particularly worried about 314.
We don't know what that is yet, but yeah, 314.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming that they're alluding to the initiative, right? So,
that's how
but
I
we don't know
understood it.
but they're somehow disrupting the dark world versus the regular world. There's some kind of imbalance that's going to happen because of whatever they're doing, which we still really don't know.
Hmm.
And then we cut to Buffy and Riley are sparring in the dimly lit gymnasium,
After hours gym.
after hours gym. And she's got her cute little kerchief on, while they're sparring. And he's like, "Are you holding back?" And she says, "Are you holding back?" So then they're going to go full force. And she kicks him across the room.
He hurts him.
Hey, he asked for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he likes it. He's into it.
Back at the restaurant, Giles and Ethan are
They
drunk.
are drunkety drunk. They've
Yeah.
moved on to shots.
Ethan gives the waitress his number, who does not want it.
No, no. Yeah, and Giles is just feeling he's all in his feels.
Yeah,
He's a
midlife
couple
crisis
old
again.
has-beens
Yeah.
who he's
Who am I?
yeah.
An unemployed librarian who tends to get knocked on the head.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really who you are.
Yeah.
Cut to Willow and Tara in a dorm room.
Tara's dorm room, which looks very nice, I must say.
Yeah, very nice. And they're going to do some witchcraft and maybe some light lesbian action, You know, there's some energy there. They're gonna do it, aren't they? They're
they were
gonna do
using
it.
the magic,
They're gonna do it. Um, they're gonna float that rose, and
and then peel the petals
yes,
off.
peel the petals off using the magics. Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then I wrote, "OMG, the floating rose effect."
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh, oh,
And then that rose turns into the Nimbus 2000 and flies around the room. It is going crazy.
and
I put that in my
then
notes
it
last
turns into
night,
like
and I'm like, Melanie's going to get a kick out of
it turns
this.
into like an ice rose or something, and it shatters and is like all
Yep.
smoking and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, somebody really could have got. Now nobody got impaled by that rose. That could have been like if somebody like a demon walked in and got impaled by the rose.
That would have been good.
Yeah, yeah, they don't have the budget for that.
Or goes right through Tara's chest like a bullet, and that's the end of her time on Buffy.
Oh no. So then the alarm clock at Giles rings, and as soon as they didn't show you any, like you saw his back, you see him roll out of the bed, and you just kind of see it like plodding to the mirror. I was like, oh, something's going on here. Yes, something is going on here. Giles is demon out.
Hmm. Kind of looks like Moloch from season one a little bit with the
Oh,
curling horns.
yeah, yeah. Maybe they reused the horns. Surely they reused demon parts in this show,
I'm
you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a very funny scene when he's kind of clomping around his apartment and knocking things,
Breaking it,
breaking
breaking it.
everything, and yeah, all that styrofoam prop furniture. He ends up he busts his shirt when he tries to put the shirt on. It's very
I
funny
like
hearing his
that
voice come
shirt.
out of that demon. That was very funny. I did laugh out loud.
Yeah, it's good.
And then he puts on a blanket and breaks the door off the frame and rah, and heads out. Very funny. And then Buffy and Willow are at breakfast, and Buffy is glowing. She's so happy.
You haven't seen this in a while.
It's nice to see her happy.
It is nice to see her happy.
And then she's like, "So where were you last night, Willow? You didn't, I don't remember you coming in." And Willow, like in one uninterrupted sentence, I was at the Camp Hablanado all alone. It's like these people lie, these friends lie to each other so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I have 7. They've grown up enough to be open with each other and confide in each other and trust each other that, they can lean on
Well,
each other.
and really, what reason did Willow have? Like, she met this other girl in the
Yeah.
Wicca Club, and they were trying out some witchcraft.
Yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know.
so, like Buffy asked, pancakes or waffles?
Oh, okay. This is well, this is some serious discussion here. I do like pancakes, but lately I've been a waffle girl. I do like waffles. Only now I like them because they're usually much fewer calories than a stack of pancakes
Hmm,
because they're mostly air.
right.
And Drew and I, where we live, there's not only a Waffle House, which we love, but there is a Waffle King
Yes.
restaurant, which we went and tried. And their waffles, I think I like Waffle House better. Their waffles are fluffier. Waffle House are kind of dense waffles.
Hmm,
These were like big Belgian style waffles.
okay.
They both have their pros and cons. What do you
I'm
think?
with you. Pancakes, I'm a big fan of the chocolate chip pancake.
Oh, yeah.
Waffles, I got to be in the mood for it, but if I'm in the mood for it, I want it really bad. And I've been craving waffle this week. So I think when we go out to breakfast this weekend,
Waffles, you can do waffles are a breakfast or a dessert. You're not
yeah, for me,
sure.
the breakfast.
What?
For me, the breakfast.
You wouldn't put like Nutella or melty chocolate and whipped cream or ice cream on a waffle. You're not gonna do that on a
Okay,
pancake.
yeah, all right, you got a point.
Mm. But pancakes, yeah, you could put more filling stuff in pancakes. Banana pancakes, blueberry pancakes,
Mhm. Walnuts, yep.
walnuts, yeah.
All right.
The hardest hitting discussions here. Anyway,
Uh,
Buffy is so happy, which is nice to see. And Willow tells her about the rose and what happened, and she senses that something is going on as well. That there's something dark magic energy. She says, "Oh,
magic.
magics, the magics." Ugh. Actually, she says dark magic energy, and Buffy says, "Do you think it's someone else doing the magics?"
You're right. You're
So,
right.
and then Willow tells Buffy that, Giles is feeling down. Be nice to him. She doesn't say, because you were a real jerk to him the other night at the party. It's mostly because of
Shoving
you.
cake in his face.
Then Giles, in his demon form, shows up at Xander's basement.
He's trying to be so gentle. Xander, Xander.
Xander, wake up. Xander, Xander. Oh my gosh. And Xander sees this giant hulking demon and doesn't understand he's making demon noises. And Giles thinks he's speaking English. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Um,
Xander starts checking plates at him.
yes. Yes. And then Giles runs out and he runs through the neighborhood and he's scaring everybody. And he's just, you know, poor Giles. Poor Giles is the name of this episode.
Mhm.
Then the gang shows up at Giles and they, of course, misinterpret what's going on.
The
They
damage, yeah.
think that a demon has taken him or killed him or something. And so then we go to Giles. Demon Giles is in a cemetery and runs into Spike, who's scoping out crypts, I guess. And Spike thankfully can understand him. What kind of demon is he?
Fjarl.
Fiarl, which reminded me a lot of the Sarah Maas books,
Yeah, yeah, there's
right?
a lot of F names, yeah.
Yeah. Or Fiero,
Yeah.
a good F fantasy name, demon fantasy
Hmm.
name. So Spike understands him, and Spike is going to help Giles find Ethan.
Hmm. I
Um,
found it interesting that Spike could speak Fjarl.
yeah, he said he had some of them working for him at
Yeah.
one time, which we find out later that that's usually what they do. They are like demon goons,
Yeah.
right? Um, then we're back at Giles.
Mhm.
Riley comes in because he's got to go where the trouble is, and he knows because they have a patch into the 911 calls. He doesn't
They're
know
on it.
that's Giles's house. He just knows he's responding to reports, and the initiative is going to help. Although knowing what the initiative does, I wouldn't want the initiative on this case,
No,
right? They're going to
no.
help, and then they're going to put that demon right in the cell,
Right.
right?
Spike and Giles are in Giles' old jalopy,
That's
which
what
is
I
a stick
wrote down
shift.
too, that they're in a jalopy.
'Cause that's what it
That is
was.
a word you don't hear too much. A jalopy.
Because we're
That's
old.
amazing. Yes. Jalopy.
Stick shift. Can you drive stick?
No,
No,
no.
me neither.
My dad tried to
Wouldn't
teach
even.
me. He had like a Mazda sports car for a while, and it even told you like it on the dash. It would go shift now.
See, that's nice.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
probably can learn that way.
yeah.
One time, Mike and I were moving out of our apartment into another one, still back in New York, and we specifically requested a automatic shift U-Haul, and all that when we got there, all they had was stick shift.
Oh,
So my dad gave Mike a crash course over the phone,
oh,
and
over the phone. Oh my
he
god.
did it. He did it.
The same thing happened to me when I lived in California, and my boyfriend at the time and I had to go pick up a piece of furniture somewhere, and we showed up. Yeah, and all they had was a stick shift. Neither one of us knew how to drive stick shift, and we just had to figure it out. He did. My
Mhm.
boyfriend figured it out,
Yeah.
and I mean, oh my gosh, on the freeways of LA. Oof,
We find out that the Fjarl demons have a paralyzing mucus so they could shoot out of their nose.
gross.
Yeah,
Yes,
but pretty handy to fight.
yes. Giles feels like he's changing. He's full of anger and rage and the need to destroy. And he's like, pull over. And I was like, oh man, he's going after somebody. Yes, he's going to go after Professor Walsh, who's just walking down the street. That was pretty good. He just gets back
Yeah,
in the car. He's like, all right, let's go.
yeah. He definitely scared her.
Yes, yes.
Back at the Giles Villa, they find a Fjarl demon in one of the books
Finally, yes.
and find out that a weapon made of silver
Yes.
can kill it.
Yep. We get a phone call and find out that the demon has attacked Walsh. He did not attack her. And so they say maybe it's somebody using the magics to control the demon.
So then Buffy goes to the magic shop with Riley,
Yep, gotta get some supplies.
finds a receipt from Ethan Rain.
So now they know who they're looking for.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Buffy and Riley start arguing. He wants her to leave. Said Professor Walsh said that he can't bring Buffy along, which
He doesn't know who
that's
he's dealing with. They don't know.
yeah.
They don't know yet who they're dealing with. And she's like, no, I don't think so.
um, Back in the jalopy, Spike and Giles are being tailed by a military car.
Yep.
They get to the motel where Ethan's at. Giles bursts in to the that motel room, starts fighting with Ethan.
Hmm.
Buffy and Riley show up.
Hmm.
It's just insanity at this point.
Insanity in that little room, which
Yeah,
seems like a much bigger
Riley's
room during the fight scene.
yes, Riley's fighting Ethan. Buffy is fighting feral Giles.
Yes.
Spike crashes Giles' car.
Yes.
I did read in the trivia that when that was done, he gets out of. They cut the scene, but he gets out of the car. He's like, "I can fight demons. I can crash cars. Life is good."
Yeah. Um, oh, back at the hotel, Buffy stabs the Giles demon with her silver knife dagger, but he doesn't die. And
Mhm.
she somehow realizes that it's him, that it's Giles. And she's like, oh my God,
Just as
Giles,
she's
oh
stabbing
no.
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it turns out the knife was not real silver, so he's okay.
Hmm.
Then we just a real quick cut, and everybody's back to normal.
The initiative take Ethan away to a military facility in the Nevada desert,
There you go.
possibly
Very
Area
cool.
51,
Very
maybe not.
anticlimactic, I think. When it was like, obviously, during that, when she realizes it's him, they must have cut to commercial. And then we
Yeah,
come back, and he's back to his old Giles form, wearing a shiny silver shirt from Ethan Rain's closet. But it was
because
like, oh, all right.
she looked into his eyes and
Yes.
realized it was him.
Well, yeah, you think it's going to be like that. I looked into his eyes, and I could tell because nobody looks at me that annoyed as Giles. Go, okay. And then Riley is, talking to her afterwards. He's like, "You're really strong, like Spider-Man strong,
Yeah,
and you're in charge."
yeah.
He's into it.
Hmm.
He's into it. Yeah. Then we have our little epilogue scene where Buffy apologizes to Giles for not keeping him in the loop, which is good. She should.
Hmm.
And she'll tell him things going forward. And then he says he's a little concerned with the initiative and what they're doing, but she's not hearing that
Right.
because she's in love. And they both tell each other, be careful, just,
Yeah. And
in
then,
different ways.
yeah, at the initiative,
Mhm.
Professor Walsh and Riley are talking. She's concerned about
Yes, be
Buffy.
careful, Buffy.
Yeah, and they talk a little bit, and then they part, and Maggie goes behind or like a swipe door
Mm-hmm.
into a room labeled 314,
14.
and that's how it
Ba
ends.
ba ba.
Yeah. So before we get to our ratings and favorite lines, what do you think is in room 314?
Ooh. Oh. I think it's a demon that they're trying to brainwash to work for them somehow.
Hmm,
And that's upsetting the balance because you can't have a demon living in the real world.
great. Okay. I like your theory.
All right, thanks.
Ew, that was so
No, it
condescending.
wasn't.
Okay, we'll let the listeners decide.
Okay, all right. That's our poll,
Uh,
our Instagram poll. Was Melanie being condescending at the end of the episode?
how many steaks will you give a new man?
I will give a new man 2.75 steaks.
That's exactly what I have.
Oh, I said it was fine. It was slightly anticlimactic. There were some funny moments, and it sets up the conflict between Walsh and the rest of the Buffy's world.
Yeah.
and Giles. I was bummed we didn't get to see the mucus power in action.
Yeah, I was kind of
Like,
hoping
why'd
that
they
happened.
make note of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, 275.
Yeah. Same for me. Favorite lines?
When they're in the car and Spike says, "You picked up a tail," and Giles says, "Yes, just a little one. It hurts when I sit."
Mine was also Giles. It was the "Who am I, an unemployed librarian who tends to get knocked on the
Yeah,
head."
that's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, next episode.
Hmm.
Season 4, episode 13,
Lucky number
The
13.
I in Team.
The I in team. Is it spelled
I spelled with the
T-U-I-E?
letter I. No, letter I.
Oh, the I in team. Well, I guess it's going to be maybe the I stands for initiative. And do we want the initiative to be part of the team? Like, are they,
Mhm.
the Scoobies going to work with the initiative and how that dynamic's going to develop?
Okay. I have a screenshot
I love it.
and I just sent it to you.
Okay.
I struggled again because, like, so many of them are just like people talking.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is nothing.
Oh. Okay, so this looks like Buffy is recording something
Hmm.
to someone
Okay.
at 8 p.m. with a question mark. I don't know what that is. Okay, so who is she, the I in team? It looks like, where is she?
I will say to me that 8 looks like a B,
Oh,
not an 8.
BPM. Oh, okay. Oh, so maybe she's in a cell at the initiative
Mm.
and they're measuring her vital signs to see what her powers are, her Buffy strength. Maybe, and that's like the camera, the security camera, they're watching her and she's in the while she's in the cell. Why would they do that? I don't know.
We will find out.
Ooh, it's very exciting.
Yeah. You know what else is exciting?
Tell me.
Our social media.
Oh, tell us about it.
We are everywhere that matters at the Sunnydale Diaries, except Blue Sky. There we are at Sunnydale Diaries because they don't allow long
Right.
usernames. We have a website, thesunnydalediaries.com, where you can get to our episodes. There are links there for various podcast platforms that all have us available. You can also get your PDF Jenny calendar for the rest of 2025. Still 6 more months of good Jenny pictures. You can also there get a link to our Discord server.
Hmm. It's been very quiet on the
It
Discord server.
has been quiet on the
We need
Discord.
to post
We
fun
need
stuff
some
on there.
new blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have an email address, thesunnydalediaries at gmail.com, or you can send us an email
Sure.
like Ryan did.
Yeah. Be like Ryan.
Tell us how you found us. Tell us what you like about us. Tell us what you don't like about us. We can take criticism. We'll be fine.
Did you know it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws the movie coming out?
I did see that, yes.
Happy
I only
anniversary.
watched it for the first time within the last 5 years. It's a good movie.
It was a good movie. I when I was a kid I had a Jaws game. It was kind of like Operation where you had to reach in. It was a Jaws shark and all the trash and stuff was in his mouth and there was a rubber band that held his jaw and you had to pull stuff out and his jaw would snap shut.
I saw a Instagram reel today. It was a vampire game. I think it was called like I Want to Bite Your Finger.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely I want where you put it was a vampire.
Yes.
You put your finger in his mouth and you like a push button like a certain number of
Yes.
times, and it
Yes.
I don't know if like it stamped
I think
you
it was
or
a
it just
stamp.
okay. I don't remember
I
that,
think it was a
but
little after my time, but yes.
so probably was my time then. But
Yeah.
I don't remember that one
No.
at all. Normally I remember the game commercials, but that's like oh that's interesting
Yeah.
and vampire related.
Yes. We should get one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on eBay somewhere.
So anyway, we will see you guys for the next episode, which we will release when, Sean?
That is going to be on Monday, July 14th.
Oh, so after we are at
Fanboy. Yeah, we will be
Fanboy.
at Fanboy that previous weekend.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.